Hey everyone, welcome. Dawnalea Robinson, Diamond Ambassador, and I'm here with Tiffany Weaver, also a Diamond Ambassador. And today we're going to talk to her about how she grew over the last 2 years with our company. Now, if you guys don't know, she actually went from gold to diamond in 3 months. That's 90 days of business. And she has been able to transcend the limits of what so many of us thought were even possible in this business. So I'm super excited to talk to her today and let her share a little bit about her story. And then I'm going to be asking her some really great questions that I think are going to help you. So, Tiffany, tell me a little bit about why you started Plexus and what that looked like.
So for me, network marketing was not on my radar, not at all. For those of you that don't know, I have a master's in social work. And so mental health was my passion and that was my career. But I felt horrible after becoming a mom. And so I trusted my friend. I won't go into my health story, but I was like, okay, I'm going to try these products. Around the same time, I had taken a job where I was making less money in order to be home with my boys more. And that was really hard because you can't really do more therapy to make more money. We were looking at our budget and we were just wanting so many great things for our life, but I felt this guilt that I had taken this position that allowed me to be home with my boys more, but also meant that we took a pay cut. So I thought, well, what if I could just make sure that we get our products paid for? That was kind of where I started. So I joined June 30th, 2018. I made my first post on July 1st. And I went silver in July. I actually went silver while I was in the hospital after giving birth to our second child. And so I kind of just caught the bug. I enjoyed it. I realized, like, everybody was like, put your phone down. You're in the hospital having a baby. And I was like, but I love this. Like, I would be holding him. And I just sort of became addicted to it. And so then I continued to try to learn. I would be up in the middle of the night watching Tara Castaneda and watching, your videos or trainings on the team pages. I mean, I would be up in the middle of the night feeding him, just thinking, oh my goodness, these women are nurses and ministry families. And it was nothing like I'd ever imagined. I just thought that people in network marketing were just these awful, scammy people that, I had all of those thoughts that a lot of people have. And so I had to kind of get over that pride. And I remember, and I've shared this, I messaged you in December of that year as a senior silver ambassador, super silver at the time. And I finally admitted that I had my eyes set on diamond, which was scary for me to admit because I had initially said, I'm just in this for the products. I don't care about the business. So then I went gold in March of the following year, and I got stuck. I got stuck at gold. Actually, I didn't even really get stuck. My points kind of went down over the months. I have talked about this. I've been very open about the goals that I did not reach along the way. I went to convention. I was hooked. My husband went with me. He is so supportive. And I was like, this is it. This is where we're meant to be. And I'm going to get there. And I was going to earn Leaders Retreat. That was my next big goal. And so I worked over the summer and I did not earn it. And I was devastated, like cried for 2 weeks, devastated. And it kind of just started this downhill slide with my mindset. And I think now, at the time, I blamed everyone else. I was frustrated. I just can't do this. Maybe I just don't have what it takes, because I had other people around me ranking up. And I would look at them and say, well, of course she did. She has more influence than I do. Or she doesn't have a full-time job, so of course she can dedicate. I blamed. All the time. And so in December of last year, my husband was like, okay, is God leading you somewhere else? Is this not? And I was like, no, I knew in my heart, I never considered quitting. I was just mad because I wanted to be doing better. And so he was like, then you've got to be all in. And I had this big realization that I was being very self-serving. I was being very very self-serving. I got caught up in what I wanted, the ranks that I wanted to be at, the prizes I wanted to earn, which are still great, but I was just always pointing in to myself. And so I had to do a lot of soul searching and realize that I brought to the table being someone who's a mental health professional and someone who loves on people, cares for people, helps people with their mindset. And I wasn't bringing any of that into my business. It was just what I wanted, and people aren't helping me reach my goals, and all of those self-serving thoughts.
Yeah. Yep. And I like what you said about knowing that you needed to go all in and that your husband guided you through that, because I think so many of us know when we're not all in. And, you know, when I coach my team, that is one of the things. It's like when we say, hey, are you doing this? And they know they're not doing it. So we know they're not all in. And I know for me as well, when I started to really visualize where I was going, put my team first and go all in, like you said, my business transformed completely. So I know now. So if you guys, Tiffany has been in this business for 2 years. So she ranked diamond on her 2-year anniversary, which is incredible. Such a good birthday gift. Anniversary, plexiversary birthday gift. So obviously you have learned a ton of lessons over the last 2 years and even leading up to diamond. So what are some of the most important leadership lessons that you've learned that you're able to share?
I think that, like I said, when I got into this, I started being inundated with scripts and post and say these things and get people to 100 PV. And I got so bogged down in the mechanics of the business that I totally forgot what I'm good at and what I brought to the table, which was mindset and empowering people and working on those goals and understanding how emotions affect our actions. But instead, it was like I left all that behind when I started network marketing. And like you said, it was like this realization that I had that I could marry those two passions together, because I was one foot in and one foot out. I still had my career. That was my safe zone. That was my plan B, you know. And so there were times that I struggled to admit that this was what I wanted. I wanted to go all in with this. Because let's be real, people think you're crazy when you give up a professional career for something that they feel is so uncertain. And so I finally realized, okay, how can I bring what I am good at and marry that with network marketing? And so I completely just every day, like in January, I would wake up, I started the month out, God, help me understand how I can serve other people, because I had been so self-serving and I had lost my way with that. And so I remember going to Super Saturday. Super Saturday was so helpful for me. I was in Nashville with Emily Gibson and Christy Jex. And a realization I had there was when they were talking about how they speak to other people and how they were so different. And I just thought, why am I trying to mimic other people all the time? Why am I trying to copy their scripts? And I'm not against scripts, but I really don't teach them to my team very often because it takes away that authenticity. It takes away what we're good at and that true connection. And I realized I wasn't pouring into people. I wasn't finding out what my team's goals were. I was not trying to build people up, build true relationships with people on Facebook. It just became how they could join my team and serve me. So I watched Brooke Hemingway's Mastermind to Gold series. I always recommend that. I do think that Brooke has a wonderful way of keeping people accountable while still focusing it on them, because there's a way to get someone to join your team, get someone to 100 PV that's mutually beneficial and not so self-serving. And so leadership, that's something you and I've talked about. I'm very passionate about leadership, and I've been in leadership roles before, and I brought nothing from that experience. It was like I just abandoned everything I knew because network marketing was so new to me. But that's the beautiful thing about network marketing, is that we all bring something to the table and we're all good at those things. And so mindset is something that I'm good at. And so that's what I started bringing into my business. And I think that it prepared me for the growth that my team had starting in March.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as, what is something that you've learned over the last 2 years that you felt like was kind of difficult, like maybe a lesson that you had to struggle through?
Comparison is probably the hardest thing that I went through in this
Yeah.
journey because I was not the girl that just posted one time and had everyone flock to her inbox. To be honest with you, I had Facebook, I had lots of Facebook friends, but when you're in a helping profession, getting on Facebook and really building relationships with people seemed exhausting.
Yeah.
So I had to take a lot of time to build those relationships, really build them, not just scroll Facebook, but really message
Mhm.
people and tell them congratulations on their beautiful baby and wish them happy birthday and tell them congrats on getting that job. And through that process, I've built a lot of friendships, and they're not even on my Plexus team. And I think we have to be okay with that, building
Yeah.
relationships just for the sake of building relationships. Some of them have joined my team, and it's been the best relationship that I could have ever had because it wasn't forced,
Yeah.
but a lot of them haven't. So just building those relationships and realizing that we're not all on the same in the same place on the same journey. I watched people rank up much faster than me. I watched people go jewel, and I was struggling to get to gold. And they joined the same month that I did. And so I would sit and say, well, she's more influential than I am. She already has this, or she doesn't have a full-time job. And it's honestly just excuses. And that
Mhm.
comparison kept me stuck, that I would think I would have this doubt. And I think that we don't realize that we bring that into conversations with people, even if I'm not saying, I really don't know if this Plexus thing is going to work out, but you should join my team. It was
Yeah.
still how I brought that to people, that underlying fear. People can sense when you're holding back, when you're not confident, and they can sense when you have this underlying fear. And
Yeah.
so I had to really tackle that comparison head on and say, I don't know what my purpose is in Plexus. Maybe my purpose isn't to be a diamond one day, but whatever my purpose is, I'm going to run head on with it
Yeah.
and try to figure it out and just help the most people that I could.
Yeah. So, what is something that you want to say to other ambassadors, your team, or I know this is going to have a ton of views, so sidelines? What do you want to say to them if maybe they're silver or they're golds right now and they want to be a diamond, but they're not sure, like they're in this place that, yes, I'd love to do that, but it feels so far away. I mean, you have transcended the limits of what is possible in our company, so what do you want to say to them?
I would say that from the day that you joined this company, you started planting seeds. And we all say that, we've all heard that. And honestly, I got tired of that saying at one point in my business, like, okay, I have planted until I cannot plant anymore. Where are these people? And they came. So you never, never know. I had no indication at the beginning of this year that I would be diamond in 5 years, let alone in 3 months. So, when you join, you're planting seeds, and that fear dissipates when you start focusing on other people, focus on serving people. Don't forget what you bring to the table. For me, it was mindset and that coaching aspect that I'm great at, but there's other things that I'm not great at. So you have to figure out what you bring to the table. Don't lose that human aspect of all of us. Don't become the network marketing robot that just sends scripts out and, don't forget that you're a human being with, building friendships, and that as long as you are planting seeds, you will harvest them at some point. So don't get focused on what everyone else is doing, because now, I mean, sitting here as a diamond, it didn't matter who ranked up before me or who will rank up after me. The blessings that this has brought my family mean no less because it took me 2 years, or if it would have taken 5 years or however long that it takes us, it's so, so worth it to stay that course.
Yep. Okay, so now we're going to go through some of the questions that our team had for you. And I think a lot of people are probably wondering the same questions. So I first wanted to ask you, where did you end with your points at the end of March?
I believe I had 135.
Okay.
That's where I
And
was.
so 135 at the end of March. So, okay. And then, so you started April as a gold ambassador. Now, where did you end at the end of last month?
At the end of last month, I ended with over 4,600 points.
Okay, guys. So she started April as a gold ambassador, and ended June with over 4,600 points. Okay, all right. So something that a lot of people want to know is, where did you find your business builders? And did they come in first as wholesale ambassadors who just saw the vision and they grew as leaders? Or were these people who came in and got started with the business right away?
So I'll be real with you. In the 2 years that I've been doing this, I have had maybe 2 people ever approach me directly about the business, and neither one of them ever did anything with it. So they were all wholesale ambassadors. Some of them had been with me. Some of them joined right before we went into momentum. Some joined during. And then I had a couple that joined before we really went into momentum. So they started out as wholesale ambassadors. None of them came to me wanting the business. And so a lot of them just kind of caught the vision along the way like I did, but they did not. And they started out as people being very doubtful that they would ever even get to silver, let alone to get to ruby, senior ruby, and emerald that they are now.
Yeah. And you had a big part in getting them to start moving in that right direction. And I will often say that as sponsors, we see things in people that they don't see in themselves. So we have to give them what I call gentle nudges to get them moving. So what is something that you did to show your business builders? You have a jewel, you have senior rubies now, correct? And then multiple people on your team have double, triple, quadruple rings. So what did you do to get them to start sharing?
So first off, I think that and this is something that I had forgotten, which is funny because my background is in mental health and mindset is something huge to me. I think that sometimes we forget that most people, we end up with this mindset of like, well, if you want it, you'll really work for it. You'll just really go for it. And we end up kind of putting people in the lazy category. Like they're just not willing to work for it. When in reality, a lot of people want it. They just don't know how to start and they're overwhelmed and they're scared. And saying, I don't want it is so much easier than saying I've tried and I didn't get it, or I went for that goal and I didn't reach it. And so when they started out with me, I always started out, I simplified my entire system. Very, very simple. Because if you are a new ambassador and you come in and you don't know where to go to find information, you're being told to send these scripts that are a paragraph long, you're being told to reach out to 1 million people. It is overwhelming. So simple is the absolute best way to go. So I simplified that system so that when they came on board, number one, I'm a huge fan of getting people on the phone. That is, and I know that I've seen people say, what? I'm a huge fan because I have built some of the absolute best relationships with people since I made that a standard, to get on the phone with people, because I've learned their goals, their life story, what they want out of life. And they build a good relationship with me and see that I care, because I think the number one thing that held me back from having runners before is, how do I bring up getting to silver? I don't want them to feel as though I'm trying to get them to sell, or what if they shut me down? But when you build that relationship and you know their goals, and then it's not self-serving, it's not me trying to get them to silver for my business, it's seeing these are your goals and this is the thing that can help you get there. I think that it just helped so much. So we didn't spend so much time training people and building them up. They were ready to kind of hit the ground running because it was such a simple system.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what is the system?
So when someone joins, I always encourage people to get my entire team, get them on the phone to get them signed up. While they're on the phone, I told this before, but I'll tell it again because I think it's really important. I had someone recently who joined my team, and she said, she got on the phone with me and we did it over the phone, and she said, someone I'd never met, did not know her, but she said, I can hear the passion in your voice. And I was so skeptical about this, but hearing the excitement and the passion in your voice, like, I think this is it. I really think that this is going to help me. And so when I'm on the phone with them, I'll bring up, I don't know if you realize this, but signing up actually qualifies you for the referral program. Super simple. You just grab 3 people to do it with you. A lot of people do their mom, sister, and best friend, or their, neighbor or someone from church, and just do it with them. And it's really fun because you have accountability partners. so not scary, so not salesy. And it's how it benefits them. You know, when you refer these friends, you're going to get X number of dollars, whatever the incentives are at the time. And that's going to help you pay for your products. I've never had anyone have a bad reaction from me saying that. I've never had them. They seem like, oh, wow. Well, thank you for letting me know. That's exciting. You know, I think that my mom could really probably benefit. Asking them who in your life would you like to see be healthier and happier? Kind of helps them get those people in mind so that it's not me selling something. It's just me helping friends and family. I have a potentials page that we add everyone to. I have been posting in it since the day that I joined. And so there are thousands of posts in there about individual products and testimonies. And so I always instruct them when someone says, okay, what is Plexus? I say, really simple. It's a health and happiness company that's going to help you with your goals, you know, weight management. You know, is it okay if I ask you a few questions to see if this would be a good fit? And then I'll tell them, just ask them what their goals are. What are you wanting to work on? What health issues do you have? And then I'll say, add them to that page, use the search bar at the top to search weight loss, weight gain, energy, whatever it is. And there's already so many posts in there, and just tag them in it. That way you're not overwhelming them with information that kind of gives them that third party validation that you're just not coming up with BS on the spot to sell them with this product. This post has already been in this group. Other people are tagged in it. And it doesn't overwhelm them and make them feel like they need to know all the things about Slim or MetaBurn from day one. That information is all in that group.
Yep. So if I came to you as your ambassador and I said, Tiffany, I want to start making money, how would you direct me?
I usually always tell people to make a very honest post. Honesty is the best policy. Be vulnerable, be honest, and be yourself. I don't usually have a post that I send to people. I will craft one-on-one with them. You know, admit to people that you're scared, admit to people that you're skeptical. I had a girl the other day, she said, I want to share and I don't know what to say. And I said, well, what are you hoping to get from this? And she's like, well, I'm going to be honest with you. I've had all these issues. I've kind of lost hope. I feel like I don't know if anything's going to work for me. And I really don't know if this is going to work for me, but I'm seeing the excitement and I've been in this team and I've seen what you all are doing and I want to be a part of it. And I said, great, that's what you post.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, just being honest and being human. Like I said, not taking that human factor out of it. The people reading your post are skeptical and scared and hopeless and, you know, all of those things. And maybe they think it's a scam. You know, that's okay. That's normal. We don't need to craft something that doesn't sound like ourselves.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. So another question is, what does your team duplication process look like for business builders?
So first of all, I have taught my team to use the referral program language. I have had people who have literally gotten to silver that way within like an hour after they joined. So they get added to our team page. I have resources on there. I try to keep it very much health and business related. I try to do an equal balance of both. And that way they can kind of see that other people are achieving those ranks too. But I think using the referral program language in my entire team, I've even had my team say, now the silver thing, what does that mean? And I'm like, well, it's where you add 3. And they're like, oh, the referral program. That language has just become so like second nature that they even get confused sometimes by that language, and they'll say, oh, I'm silver, that's great, I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. So I think that's been the biggest thing. I have a team chat, and I have tried really hard to create a wonderful supportive culture from day one, because I know the impact that mindset has on our businesses. And so I had a girl message me the other day and she's like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been on these products a week, I don't even know if they're gonna work for me, I just love being in this team. I just love being in the team chat. She said, I literally did not know that teams like this existed. So we've tried really hard to facilitate all legs of my team supporting each other. My leaders are great, that they support each other. And I think that trickles down through our team, that they see support from one side. We're not this team, that team, that team. We're just all one team.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. How do you personally focus on bringing in business builders?
I'm going to be real with you. My own recruiting has been something that I've struggled with because I had a huge list of potentials, and a lot of my business builders, we are basically all from the same tiny town. So I have to rebuild my list of potentials. But I try to share more boldly about the business than what I did before and what that's done. Like I said, I struggled when I was one foot in the career door and one foot in the plexus door, that I'm not, ashamed to share about it now, and the blessings that that has brought our family and what we're doing with that beyond just, hey, look at me, we have a car or whatever.
Mhm. Yep. And I think, your journey is so important to show people that, it doesn't have to be a business builder that necessarily comes in. It can be a wholesale ambassador who simply wants the products, who falls in love with them and sees the vision and sees what's possible. And the way that, Tiffany is encouraging her team to use the referral link, just encouraging them to get a couple friends, and then, allowing them to see how powerful community is. She's been able to rise people up in a way that they didn't even think they wanted, which is incredible. So I just love that. Okay, so another question I got was, how do you keep your business organized?
So I'm going to be real with you. I have bought apps over the years. I have done really fancy things. Being in my back office daily and having a simple planner and a notebook has been the way that works for me.
Yeah.
Simple, simple, simple. I'm in my back office daily. I think that's been a great way for me to know what's going on, what people's points look like, subscriptions, all of those things. I try to use, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. I really try hard to use what Plexus has made available in our back office for perks reports and sorting and all of those, the Excel reports. And then a simple planner has been my best
Yep.
friend.
Yep. And I'm just like you, notebook and simple planner, and I'm in my virtual office every day. I talk a lot about this, but I think it's so important to know your reports and utilize them. You want to know where your people are at. You want to be able to encourage them and celebrate them as soon as possible. So that is just, I think that's so important in leadership. Okay. So when do you know, this is a great question actually. When do you know as a leader, as a sponsor, maybe in situations where you've almost adopted a level one, someone who's compressed, when do you know when it's time to let go and let them lead?
I mean, I think that's an ongoing conversation with them. I mean, the goal is to make independent leaders. So I think just encouraging people, I really like the do for, do with, and cheer on method of doing things. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing things for someone first to let someone see what that looks like, having those first conversations or putting them in a three-way chat with me, if they're having a difficult situation with someone on their team, and then doing it with them and then kind of just cheering them on and encouraging them and building that relationship is important so that they don't just disappear off the face of the earth. They're coming to me saying, I'm dealing with a difficult situation, and I can kind of cheer them on and help them with that. But encouraging that independence throughout everything is
Yeah.
so important, because if someone's always doing something for you, you don't build that level of confidence. And that's been one of the best things for me to see in this journey, is watching my leaders go from those hesitant, skeptical, I just want to feel better people, to now leading a team with boldness and confidence and being able to stay home with their kiddos. And just that transformation is like probably the most rewarding part of all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. It's definitely ongoing, and some people, they're just going to have to cut the cord and see how they do. And then some, that the partnership works better than independence at that time. Okay. So how do you personally help your team hit their goals?
So we're talking about goals all the time. I really love those one-on-one connections. What do your goals look like for you? And I encourage my team to do that as well, to say, hey, I know you have goals. Let's hop on a call together and work on that.
Yeah.
I try to do things as a group as much as possible. Like I said, they're great about cheering each other on. I'll do posts in my team pages. What goals do you have? How can we be praying for you? Those sorts of things. And just trying to remind them how their goals are going to affect their life, because we get so hung up on a rank. gold, senior gold, diamond, whatever. But the bottom line is always what this does for our family. So gold, saying I want gold is great. What is that going to do for your family? And keeping their eye on the prize, because it is easy to get distracted by negativity on Facebook or someone saying, Lord have mercy, the crazy things I've heard about Plexus in the 2 years that I've been doing this, and not having family support and all of those things, to kind of remind them what their life is going to look like with this and what that goal is going to do for them besides just a rank pin, but what that's going to look like in their real life.
Yep. Okay. And what does your daily IPA look like, and how many hours a day do you feel like you're working your business?
This is something I'm working on. I am not going to sit here and pretend that I have always had great boundaries with my time. I have not, especially in this process. I am working on that. I am working on setting my phone down and walking away for bits of time and encouraging my team that, because it is hard when you have this team. And, I am one of those people that I am a helper. That is what my Enneagram is. I am that through and through. So my fear is setting my phone down and someone needs help. That's something that I've had to work on. So usually when I first get up in the morning, I will spend time answering messages, because it will stress me out if I know that there are things left undone for the day. That's just my personality. So the first thing I do when I wake up is look at my phone, see if anyone has messaged me, kind of check my back office, see if there's anything wonky. And then I try to kind of step away, spend a little bit of time with my kiddos doing other things, and then kind of pick it back up in the afternoon. I really try hard to get things off my to-do list that day because it will eat at me if I don't. My personal IPA has struggled a little bit stepping into this leadership role so quickly. I am a very honest person, so I'm not going to pretend that my own personal IPA has been a priority every day, because we've been in massive momentum that has literally not stopped. And so that's what my focus has been on. But I try to make sure that I'm still building relationships with people on Facebook, unfollowing people who do Plexus just so I can filter back in people in my newsfeed who are not on my team or on someone else's team, and kind of building relationships that way. So the boundaries are hard and they are crucial.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I agree. So what are you doing for your own personal growth and development?
I love to read. I have an app called Scribd, Scribd, and you can pay like $8 a month and get unlimited audiobooks and books. Audiobooks have been my best friend. We have a pool at our house. I'll go lay outside, listen to an audiobook. I have always loved trainings and learning. Personal growth has been one of my favorite things in this journey. So, but books and audiobooks, John Maxwell, especially, I've kind of moved into more leadership type books. But yeah, reading books is like my number one thing.
Okay. And when you have potentials on your team, do you prefer to do three-way chats, parties, sample boxes? What does that look like for you guys?
So I'm going to be honest with you. We have done parties. They have not been effective for my team. I think this is one of the important things that you have to learn along the journey, is that everyone's network is different. And so embrace that. It's not a bad thing. You kind of just do trial and error. I have done events at multiple points in my business, and individual events have never been effective for my team. We have done team-wide events, and those have seemed to be more effective. Challenge boxes, I don't lead with challenge boxes. Usually I kind of use them as a default if someone's not ready to join. I do have a couple of people on my team who have built their entire business around challenge boxes. They love them, their network loves them, and so I try to encourage that. Try it. If it works for you, that's great. I've not built my business on that, but like I said, I have someone right now on my team who's senior gold, and almost her entire business has been built on challenge boxes. So three-way messages are not a necessity. I don't always do them unless someone asks me to do them, but a lot of times they will prefer help me with this conversation. But since we do super simple and the add and tag method, I very rarely have people come to me saying, help, I don't know what to say.
Alrighty. And what fears do you currently have? And what fears have you experienced in this business?
I think fear is a theme in this business always, and it's going to be the thing that makes or breaks you. When I first started, I feared, what if no one wants to buy this from me? What if I'm just a big flop? And I always tell people now, if you post and people don't join, that's okay. You're in good company. I did not post and everyone flocked to me. I have always had fear about, can I sustain this? Will my business continue to grow? My fears have changed from the time that I joined until now. But I am very, very aware of those fears and know that they come from a place of our brain trying to protect us and keep us in our comfort zone. They are not based in reality. So if you're someone that feels fear all the time, you have to check yourself. Your brain literally is wired to protect you, and it says it doesn't know the difference between a bear standing in front of you or you trying to do this Facebook Live. It's just all something scary. We go into survival mode and we go into that run. And it breaks my heart to see how many people along my journey that could have probably been diamond or been close to it, but they let that fear eat at them and they walked away from it. So it's just trying to protect yourself, but it's not rooted in truth. So you have to check yourself and say, okay, what is the actual worst case outcome? Most of the time, the worst case outcome isn't anywhere close to what we feel like it really would be.
You're so right about that. Okay, so tell me about your runners, your business builders. Now, you have a couple different legs that are doing incredible things. And that is kind of, I think, the goal in this business. You know, you don't just want one amazing team, you want multiple incredible teams. So tell me a little bit about how you met your business builders, and then, you know, kind of where they're at.
So Megan is Emerald. She joined in January. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Megan's name because she was everywhere. Her picture was everywhere because she did the unthinkable and went from, she quadruple ranked in April. And then she went Emerald in May. And so she and I went to school together. Like I said, all of my runners, we all live in a tiny town in eastern Kentucky. I'm told that my accent gives me away sometimes. But we live in a tiny little town. Megan and I went to high school together. We were never truly close friends. She saw my post about Plexus and she messaged me multiple times over that year and a half before she joined. She literally got to the checkout screen multiple times and sent me a screenshot and said she was joining, and she did not. So that's why I say planting seeds is so important. I never quit building relationships with her. I did not unfriend her or block her or whatever. I was just like, okay, I see you and you're going to come around eventually. And she did. In January, we got on the phone together. She messaged me and said, okay, I need to talk to you because I'm really serious this time. And I'm not going to lie, I did not really believe then that she was going to actually go through with it. So she did. We got on the phone, talked for 2 hours that first night. She joined in January and went silver in January, senior silver in March, and then gold, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby in April, and emerald in May, and she's going for sapphire this month. She has a really strong team. She is very servant-hearted, which is a theme among all of my runners, which is amazing because that was the kind of epiphany I had, was that I needed to focus on servant leadership, and so they are pretty much a product of that. I think that I kind of attracted them in this process. Morgan joined at the end of April, and she is now senior ruby. She went ruby and senior ruby last month. She was featured on a corporate call. She is one of the most honest, vulnerable people you will ever meet. I think that's been why her team has grown so incredibly quickly. People trust her. They know that she's servant-hearted. She's been very vulnerable about her journey from day one, invited people to follow her journey. And so people trust her, and she's built an incredible team through that. Kim is another runner. She's senior ruby for me. She joined in September after I joined, so September of 2018. Bless her heart, she has been on this journey with me of trial and error and let me try this and let me try that. So I definitely have a special place in my heart for her. But she is the same way. She is a kindergarten teacher. She loves on people, and she just went senior ruby last month, and she's going for emerald this month. And she kind of had the same journey that I did. She did not grow quickly. She got stuck at different ranks, and so she decided to come back, I think, when she saw that I was all in and we were all going for this, and she said, okay, I want to be a part of this. And she's developed a senior ruby on her team as well.
Incredible. Okay, so I have one last question for you. What does your follow-up look like?
So follow up obviously is where it's at. It's the most important thing that you can do. So for me, I have had a lot of people join me that I have been following up with from day one. I have always tried to love on people no matter if they tell me no. I keep them in my news feed. I make it intentional to interact with them. They may never join, but a lot of them have over time because I didn't make it awkward if they didn't join me. It was like, that's okay. And I'm still commenting on pictures of their kid or asking them recommendations based on a post that they made. So I've usually always followed up with people once a month or once every month, kind of depending on what we have going on. And then follow up with my own ambassadors when they join. I'm really heavy on follow up the first week because, like I said, my background is in mental health. I know mindset. When someone hits that join button and they enroll until they get their products, a lot can happen. They can have people tell them that it's banned in Australia because we've never heard that before. Or they can tell them that, you know, their husband's doubting them. I can't believe you spent that money. So I have accepted that a lot of times we are sometimes the only cheerleader that someone has when they join. And so those first couple of weeks, I'm very heavy on follow up and cheering them on and kind of reassuring them so they don't have that buyer's remorse. You know, because like I said, a lot of times we're their only cheerleader that they may have in their life. And I want my voice to be the loudest, cheering them on and assuring them that they have made the right decision.
Okay, so what I want you to do, last thing here, and thank you for all your time today. I just want you to look into your camera and just like talk to Plexus, talk to the people out there. Like you are such an encourager, and I want them to know too that like you did it, they can do it. You know, we have people from multiple different backgrounds in our company doing incredible things, and I just want them to hear from you directly.
So I would say that your time is coming. You may not know it, you may not even see it happening, but it will come as long as you continue to plant those seeds, that you keep your heart in the right place throughout this, and you remember that we serve other people. That's what makes our company different, is that we serve other people and we bring people in and we try to help them reach their goals. And if your mission is to always help other people reach their goals, then eventually you're going to reach yours too. And it's the best feeling in the world when you can do it with people and not just having people doing it for you. So just don't quit, stay in your own lane, and know that your time is coming.